I'm gonna give it all I got today. Everything that I have left, I'm going to pour into this talk. I spent a lot of time this weekend thinking, okay, these guys, we've talked now. This is our 4th time you hear me talk. Okay? What do I want my final message to them to be? If you haven't heard a single thing I've said, I want you to hear this. Okay, I'm going to give it my all. I'm going to pour out my heart. I'm going to empty my clip today. Everything that I got. Okay? And so I hope that you find that these are important enough to write down, and not just to write down, but to take seriously and to take to heart, to change about yourself and your behavior. Okay? So I've titled this message, Prepare for Battle. Turn to somebody next to you and say, Prepare for Battle. Prepare for Battle. Okay. Already some of you guys are like, ooh, I like this message. Right? You're like, Call of Duty guys, you're like, where's my headset? I'm ready to go. Okay. Prepare for battle. Where's my headset? Prepare for battle. Okay. Again, my hope in all of this, my hope for you is that because of the things that we talk about in here, that you're going to have less heartache, less drama, less emotional and physical baggage that you're going to carry into every relationship you go to. I hope someday that you have an amazing marriage. That you become and train yourself to become an awesome and respectable husband. A terrific dad. Okay? I hope that you have the best sex life that you could possibly have. Okay? By doing things right. And preparing for battle. Some of you woke up this morning, you wiped the drool off your face. Maybe you brushed your teeth, maybe you didn't. I'm judging, okay? But you didn't know you were in a battle. You didn't know you were in an all-out war for your sexuality. And how do we expect to win or succeed or maybe just not die in a battle that we don't even know we're fighting? Some of you, maybe even today, have got to start putting up defenses. Start a little strategy here. It's not a great battle strategy to start preparing your defenses when you got bullets zinging by your head. Oh my God, he just got shot. Oh wow, they're coming. Dig a bunker. I don't know, do something. Some of you today need to start preparing for battle. Building towers, turret, towers, sniper, barbed wire, proximity mines, okay? Set yourself up for success. It's an all-out war. Some of you will get shot. Some of you will just straight surrender. You'll give up. You're not going to fight. I want to inspire you. I want to encourage you today to fight. Everything you have inside of you. To fight today, tomorrow, and 10 years from now. I want you to fight. Bless you.
Thank you. Bless you, Zach.
I want you to fight. Okay? First thing, and I hope you find these are valuable enough to write down. I want you to fight to protect what you see. I want you to fight to protect what you see.
In our notes.
This week we've talked about the fact that some of you, most of us, are looking at things, looking at images, looking at magazines, looking at videos that we may never forget. That we may never forget, that are burned in the back of our brain with such strength and such intensity that we may never forget them. I told you my first experience with pornography, I was in 7th grade, 15 years ago, and I still remember what I saw. Some of you don't understand and realize the damage that you're heaping for yourself simply by doing something that seems so innocent or so private or so secretive. You need to fight to protect what you see. I told you the quote that it takes 20 seconds to flip through a Playboy magazine, and it might take 20 years for you to forget what you saw. We talked about that pornography is a $97 billion a year industry worldwide. And that by you watching, by you clicking, by you viewing, you are supporting an industry that is destroying lives, that is destroying marriages, that is enslaving people. We talked about the high, the addiction of pornography, especially when coupled with masturbation, as being on par or being similar to the high and the addictive properties of drug use. What we didn't talk about yet, what I say for today, was the permanency of your training. You are training yourself with every view, with every watch, with every time you look at those types of images. You're training yourself in a couple different ways. First, you're training yourself to look at women in a certain way. Real women. Women that you go to school with. Women that you run into with, or maybe that you're going to date someday. It trains you to think and then look at them as an object. As something that you could potentially use to satisfy yourself, because that's how you think of your girls on your screen. They're not a person. They're not somebody's daughter. They're not somebody's mom, maybe. No. That's just some girl with a hot body that is bringing you pleasure through your eyes. And so what you do is you train yourself to look at all women that way. And it's secret. It's sneaky that way. You start to look at women not as a person with a soul and with feelings and emotions and a family and a future. You look at them as a piece of meat, as someone that could satisfy your sexual desires. And that is so messed up. You're training yourself that you can have sex whenever you want, whenever you feel like it. That at the click of a button, you can have virtual sex with all of these different women. And that's dangerous, my friend. That's a dangerous thing to train yourself. Because then you take that into your relationships. Shoot, you take that into your marriage someday. That's why we have men who are married, who are up late at night watching Showtime while their beautiful wife is asleep in their bed. Men who think that women are there for their satisfaction and that's it. Men who get dissatisfied because the real women in their lives aren't like the women on the screens. We're training ourselves. We're pointing our M16 in our foot. Okay? We're setting ourselves up for failure from the very start. I hope you recognize the stupidity in this. Okay? That we think, okay, if we're looking at pornography, which most of us either have, are, or going to be, according to statistics, okay? Just listen to me for a second if you're tuning out. Think how stupid this sounds. Okay, I'm going to go and I'm going to spend a lot of my teenage years looking at all of these women on my computer screen, on my smartphone, who are airbrushed, who are photoshopped, okay, who are doing all of these crazy sexual things that normal girls don't do. And I'm going to fill myself and my eyes with all of these images. I'm going to entertain myself with all of these women. And then, yes, someday we expect to be in a relationship with one woman, one real-life woman who's subject to gravity, who wrinkles, who ages, who might gain a little weight, who has morning breath, who wears flannel pajamas and doesn't wear the see-through nightgowns, who doesn't have sex with you every single second that you want to have sex, and we expect to be in those relationships and be committed to that one woman for the rest of our life? It's stupid. We're setting ourselves up for failure. Do you see what I'm saying here? Do you understand how much damage we're heaping up for ourselves? If that's how we're practicing? for the future? It's messed up. How do we fight this? Some of you are like, okay, I'm there. I've had like 6 people today talk to me and be like, okay, how do I fight this? How do I stop looking at this stuff? I'm all the way over here, and I want to be back over here. I don't want to do this. I know I shouldn't, but I can't stop. How do you fight it? Here's how you fight it. 4 things. Write them down. Okay? 4 things. First, you make a commitment with your eyes. You make a commitment. You make a promise with your eyes. That you're not going to look at stuff like that. You make a promise with your eyes. Now, you might not be able to help the first look. You're scrolling through the channels and something pops up and you're like, whoa, whoa. Okay? But you can help clicking back to that channel and watching it for the next 20 minutes. You might not be able to help the pop-up that comes up on your screen, that Victoria's Secret ad that's on the scroll bar on the right. But you can help yourself from the second look, or the third look, or then going to this site or this site. You might not be able to help the girl who wears the shirt down to here and comes up to talk to you and you go, whoa, hey, right? But you can help the second look, or the stare, or the third look, right? Make a promise, make a commitment with your eyes. Second thing, to fight this, you need to avoid sexually explicit material. Avoid it. You got to avoid it. Don't go to those movies that you know are going to be all about sex or all about girl. You see the preview. If the preview turns you on, probably not a good idea to flood yourself with those types of images. I'm just being honest with you. You want to fight this? You want to succeed? I'm telling you how to succeed. You want to continue to fail? You want to come talk to me in 5 or 10 years and say, hey, I'm still dealing with this. Do this now. Get crazy with this now. Take it seriously now. Ask for accountability now. Talk to your parents about this now. It's awkward now, but it'll be way more awkward later on in life. Your wife comes in and you're looking at this. You're looking at other girls. I can't stop. I've been looking at this since I was 14. That's awkward. That's damaging. That's hurtful. Put up site blockers, content blockers on your phone, on your computer. Ask for parents to check in with you. Okay? This was something that I struggled with all the way into my 20s. And I had people in my life, guys in my life that I was accountable to, that I'd be like, hey, you know what? This was a bad week. I screwed up. I went to that site again. I had people who were asking me those questions. Hey, are you making good choices? Are you keeping that commitment with your eyes? You've got to have that. It's not too young to start that. Third, don't put yourself in tempting situations. Don't put yourself in tempting situations. You want to succeed, you want to fight this, you want to not become enslaved to what you see, then don't put yourself in tempting situations. I was having a conversation with one of the kids I work with at Young Life, and he was like, hey, man, Couser, you know what? I messed up again. I went to that site again. I was looking at that stuff that I know I told you I want to get rid of. And I was like, oh man, you're doing so well. What happened? Just tell me, what happened? He's like, okay, well, nobody was home, and I was in my room, the door was closed, at my computer. I was like, are you stupid? Replay what you just told me. You're struggling with what you see. You're in an environment where it's very easy for you to fall in that same trap you always fall into. Don't be stupid. It's like being on a diet and going and sitting in McDonald's watching all the other people eat their Happy Meals and their cheesy nuggets or whatever, okay? You're gonna fail. Don't put yourself in those tempting situations. You want to be abstinent? You want to save sex for your wife? Don't be in your girlfriend's bedroom unsupervised. That's just stupid. Right? Don't put yourself in tempting situations. If you can't handle a smartphone and having the access to pornography in your fingertips, in your pocket at 4G LTE, then get a stupid phone. Okay? I'm serious. That might seem crazy to you. But you've got to take care of this now. I can't tell you how many people I talk to, or even my age, that are still stuck in this place. It doesn't feel good. Fourth, and most importantly, we need to look at girls for who they are and not what they look like. You need to look at girls for who they are and not for what they look like. Dot, dot, dot. That's somebody's daughter. Write that down. That's somebody's daughter. I want you to look at girls and treat girls in the same way that as a father, you would want somebody to treat your little girl, your daughter. If that doesn't resonate with you, I want you to treat girls, talk about girls, look at girls in the same way that you hope guys are treating your future wife. That changes things. Most of us aren't doing that. No, none of us are doing that. Okay? Here's what you do. Here's what I did. This is what you do without fail. Every single one of you is guilty of this. You look at girls and you determine their value based on what they look like. Let's say we got a new transfer student today. Okay? New transfer student to Kalispell Middle School. She transferred in from Florida. Florida. Okay, I've never been to Florida. It just sounds sexy, right? You guys are like, Florida? The sun actually shines there more than 3 months a year. We don't get that in Montana. Okay? This girl from Florida, we gotta go check her out. We gotta go see what she's all about. Let's say you see her at her locker. You're walking up, you're like, that's the Florida girl. Okay? Here's what you do. Okay? This is what you do without fail. You look her up and down, and instantly you determine if she is worth your time, your attention, your affection, or your words. If you like what you see and you're like, dang. Hey, welcome. Hey, I know these lockers are tricky. Hey, what's your comp? I can help you out. What class are you going to? Oh, that's right next to mine. Those books are heavy. Let me take those for you. I'm strong. Okay. Right? You're the nicest guy in the world. You look at her and you're like, You walk the other way. Somebody else will help her out. You can't tell me I'm wrong. That's what we do. And that is so wrong. You look at a girl based on her looks, and you make a determination of her value, her worth, based on what she looks like on the outside. That is so wrong. We've got to stop doing that. You got to protect what you see. Second thing, you got to fight with a purpose. You got to fight with a purpose. Fight with a purpose. If we're going to be honest with ourselves, can you guys be honest with me for 1 second here?
Yeah.
Okay. If we're going to be honest with ourselves, what would we say? Raise your hand. What is the purpose of dating? What's the purpose? What's the end game? What are we looking to get? What's the purpose of dating?
It's to see like what kind of values you like.
Okay? You're looking for something in that girl that maybe she's not going to be the girl, the one, but you're looking for something in her that you like, that you want to see in a future wife. Criteria, values, characteristics.
It allows you to know each other.
Okay? Get to know somebody else. What else?
Like getting yourself set up for marriage.
Okay, it's preparation. If we be honest with ourselves, it's basically preparation for marriage. Whether you're looking for qualities or you're looking for that one special person that's going to make you happy for the rest of your life. Right? Would you guys agree?
Yeah.
Okay. So, if that's the purpose, then why the hell are you dating in middle school? Why are we dating in high school? Why are we going from relationship to relationship, from breakup to breakup to... Some of you guys, it's like Facebook status changed from single to it's complicated, to I'm in a relationship, to broken up, to... It's like, what? You're 15 years old? You're going to be in relationships the rest of your stinking life. Why are we dating now? For girls, a lot of times it's because they want somebody to pay attention to them. They don't want to be alone. They don't want to be the one that nobody's texting, that nobody's calling. They don't want to be the one without a date to prom. For For guys, it's a little different. You're dating mainly for competition. Because you feel like it's expected of you. That if you can't get a girl, you must not be a man. You must not be tough enough, strong enough, manly enough. You see a guy with a girlfriend, you're like, I'm more of a man than him. I could get a girl. I could get a girl prettier than that. Right? You make it some sort of a competition. I know this because when you have a girlfriend, okay, you're walking hand in hand down the hall, you're like, hey, you guys see this? You see her? Do you see her? She's holding my hand. My hand. It's my girl. Right? Hey, everybody, you see who's getting in my car? See this? Do you see her? I mean, you see her, right? Come on. I mean, yeah. That's my girl. What? Okay? Do you see who I'm dancing with? Hey, you see who's my date? Do you see her dress? I mean, you see her dress, right? Right? That's me. It's my girl. You make it about you. And about what other people think about you. It's not about her. It's not about a relationship. It's not about marriage. God, no. It's not about finding somebody you want to marry. It's about finding somebody who makes you look good. Right? If we're going to be honest with ourselves, that's what we're doing. And we're setting ourselves up for failure. What if we got married based on the fact that, well, she makes me look real good. I think I'll marry her. It's not going to work out very well. Right? It's not going to last very long. You told me the purpose of dating is marriage, so why are we not practicing the way we're performing, that we want to perform? It's not like you flip some magical switch someday and you become a respectable guy who respects women, who values women for who they are on the inside, rather than just what they are on the outside. That'd be like at football practice, if you go up to the tackling dummy and you kind of just like give it a hug and then you like lay it down gently in the grass. You do that in a game, you're going to be on your back as some guy runs over your face mask, right? You're going to get destroyed. So why are we dating? Why are we thinking about girls in such a way that is setting us up for failure in the future? My solution that I'm going to tell my son someday, that I will tell any of you if you come and ask me, hey, Couser, when should I date? When should I be allowed to date? You should be allowed to date when you're ready to date with a purpose. When you're ready to date with a purpose. Until then, you can have friends. This is going to be revolutionary for some of you. It's going to blow the brain out the back of your soul. Okay? You can find those characteristics, those values that you want to have in a wife someday without dating that person. You can have friends that are girls and be like, wow, she's so cool. She has such a good sense of humor, and I really like that. You can find that out without all the drama and all the dating and all the heartbreak and all the pressure that's put on that relationship. You can have friends and you'd be like, oh, I don't want my wife to be like that. You don't have to date her to figure that out. But yet we feel like we do. You're going to be in relationships for the rest of your life. And somebody today came up after lunch and was like, hey, Couser, I just broke up with my girlfriend. At lunch, after your talk. I was like, awesome. Right? Why are we dating at 14? Are we looking for 14-year-old wives? Are we out ring shopping? Are we meeting our parents? Are we sitting around the lunch table? I guarantee you, nobody said this at lunch. Well, you know what? I just really like her family values. I mean, she's just so smart. I love that. That's so sexy, right? She just has a great personality. I love her laugh. No. Nobody said that. That's not how you talk about girls, think about girls. It's all on the outside. Setting ourselves up for failure. And as a man, you need to know this and get this. You have such an incredible opportunity to fight for women in your life. Whether you're dating or whether you're friends, it doesn't matter. As a man, as a leader, you have an opportunity to reverse what society has done to women. Society, Hollywood, Playboy has taken women from princesses and turned them into prostitutes. It's taken them from princesses as these amazing, awesome, beautiful inside and out creatures and turned them into, if they can't do something for you, if they can't get you excited and get your blood pumping, then move on to the next. And they're starting to believe it. Starting to believe it. And many of you have made this situation worse. You've made it worse. You talk about girls behind their back or to their face, or call them sluts, or call them ugly, or exclude them and pretend they don't even exist because they're not pretty enough. This is what I hate about middle school. I hate it. I'm here every day. I've been here for 5 years, and this is what I hate the most. I hate seeing girls who aren't pretty in your eyes be treated like they're invisible. In gym class, you will stare right through a person to look for somebody else. God, no, I'm not going to be her partner. I would never talk to her. We're all guilty of it. I guarantee you there are women who knew me in middle school who will remember my face, remember my name for the rest of their life not because I made them feel great or beautiful, but because I made them feel ugly or fat or not worthy of my time. It's true for every single one of you. There's a girl somewhere who's going to remember you forever. Not because you told her she looked beautiful that one day she got a new haircut. Or not because you talked to her and reached out to her. But because you made her feel like she didn't even exist. You pretended she wasn't even there. Can you imagine the amount of impact, the amount of good that you could have if you used your words, your actions, the way that you treated people, the way that you treated girls, to make them feel better about themselves rather than worse? You could brighten somebody's entire day by just talking to them and being nice to them and being kind to them, rather than being mean or being a jerk or being self-centered and shallow. You have a chance to fight for girls, to stand up for them. You need to treat women in the same way that you would want some guy to be treating your future wife. Right now, right here, right now. Wherever she is. I want you to think that way. Could do so much good. Last thing you need to know. You gotta fight with a purpose, and you gotta fight for your future wife. Write that down. You got to fight for your future wife. It's a decision that you got to make. And you can't be too young to make this decision. Some of you never thought about this girl. You don't know her name. You don't know where she lives. You don't know her upbringing or her story. You need to start thinking about her, and you need to start making decisions to fight for her. Because you are training yourself. Right here, right now, look at me. You are training yourself for the man of your future. You are training yourself to be a husband in the future, to be a dad in the future. You don't just flip a switch someday and start valuing and respecting women. You practice it. Some of you are off to a terrible start. Some of you are off to an amazing start. Are you going to be the kind of dad that values his family, that fights for his family, that stands up for his family and his kids and his wife? Are you going to be the dad who cares more about his football game or his car than he does about his kids? Are you going to be the type of husband who looks at his wife as someone who serves him? And man, if she isn't meeting my needs, then I'm going to move on to somebody else. Are you training yourself to be that kind of dad? Because I think some of you are. The way that you treat or look at or think about women If they don't satisfy you in the way that you want, then I'm on to the next. You're training yourself to do the same thing in marriage. Or are you going to be the guy who values this girl, who makes her, holds her up as a princess, who dates her 10 years into marriage? You're still going on dates, you're still writing her love notes, you're still buying her flowers, just the same way that you did when you were trying to get her to look twice at you. And practice that. It's never too early to start practicing that. You need to start fighting for this girl that you don't even know. Start preparing and start treating other girls in the same way that you're going to eventually treat your future wife, with respect, with honor. You would want her to be doing the exact same thing. Okay? You wrote down on your sheet of paper what you would want her boundary line to be. How many other guys do you want her to have slept with that aren't you? How many other guys do you want her to have all these different relationships with, all these physical and sexual relationships with, that aren't you? If I was to ask each and every one of you individually, you would all say the exact same thing. 0. None. She better not be kissing, be touching, be snuggling. Nobody. Except for me. I want it in myself. So treat the girls in your relationships in that same way. If she's not going to become your wife, she's going to become somebody else's. And if you could go back and talk to the guy who's dating your girl, let's say he doesn't have those values or those boundaries, if you could go back in time and have a few words with him, I think you would. I think you might have a few things to say. I read a study yesterday as I was preparing for this. A study that that did a relationship between the number of sexual partners before marriage and the rate of divorce. Okay? And in this study, they surveyed thousands of people, did this study with thousands of relationships. Okay? And if you had one guy and one girl who only had sex with each other, that's it. They had nobody else, no other partners. Okay? They had a 20% chance to still get divorced. 20%. You add one more partner for each. Each had sex with one other person. They come together. They get married. Have sex with each other. It went up to 40% chance of divorce. You add 2 or 3 or 4 partners, jumping up to 60%. Over 10 partners, which is not uncommon for a lot of people these days. 85% chance of getting divorced. We are practicing for marriage, and it's following us through, and it's biting us in the butt. Start thinking about that. Start fighting for her. And I'll tell you what, fighting is not easy. You want to know what's easy? Easy is laying down your weapon saying, hey, I'm not going to fight. I'm not going to fight. I'm going to listen to what Hollywood says, what MTV says, what the media says. I'm going to do what they say. I don't want to be that weird guy on the football team who everybody makes fun of because he's still a virgin. No, it's easy to lay down your weapon. It's easy to view porn and fill your images with porn. It's easy to think about girls as objects and talk about them like that way. It's easy to objectify women and look at them like they're a piece of meat. It's easy to give up on your marriage someday. When it gets tough, when it gets difficult, when it's not all shiny and brand new, it's easy to quit and say, I'm done. I'm going to start over. Many of you have been a recipient of that in your family. It's easy to quit on your kids. To give up and say, I'm done, I'm moving on, you take it, I'm done. It's easy to do that. It's hard to fight. It's hard to get up every day and say, I'm going to fight for what's right because I care about my future. It's hard to fight day in and day out. Fight temptations and watching what you see and thinking about this girl that you don't even know yet, but you're going to fight for her because that's what's best for you. That's not easy, friends. That's difficult. It's one of the most difficult fights in your life, but I will tell you what, you will never regret fighting. I've never had anybody come back to me and say, I regret fighting. But you know what I'm sick of? You want to know what I am so sick of hearing? Hearing from people who said, I wish I could go back and start over. I wish I could go back and sit in that chair and take those notes and take that commitment card and staple it to my wall and look at it every single day and think about my future wife and make that commitment every single day. I am so sick of hearing that. Don't be one of those people who lives with regret. Don't be one of those people who doesn't fight. Because it is a worthy fight. We need men who are willing to fight for their wives, fight for their futures, and fight for their purity. So many of you care so much about what the people around you think. And I'm sorry to tell you this, in 10 years, you're probably not even going to talk to the person that you're so concerned about. They're going to be Facebook friends, and that's about it. You need to care more about your future than you care about your reputation in high school. You need to fight with everything you have, and I want you to write this down. When you fall, get back up. Write that down. When you fall, get back up. Notice I say when. You make this commitment today, okay? You're going to fall. You're going to stumble. You're going to trip. Guaranteed. Nobody is perfect in this fight, okay? But the easiest thing when you fall down is to stay down. Say, I quit. I already fell. I'm down. I'm done. It's done. Get back up. Keep fighting. Keep running. Enlist brothers. Enlist parents, adults, people who you trust to fight with you. You can't do this alone. You're never going to regret making good decisions, but sadly, so many of you will regret making poor decisions. Because you can't take back sexual experiences with other people. You can't take them back. This is what you start with. This is what you start with. Whole and complete. And every single sexual experience that you have, they get to keep that. You get to keep that. It's theirs. You can't go back and pick up the pieces later. Maybe you don't have boundaries. Maybe you're like, this fight is too difficult. I can't do it, Couser. I can't protect what I see. I can't not look at girls this way. I can't not be physical. I'm dating this girl or whatever else, and she expects it from me. And people think I'm weird if I don't. So I gotta be physical. I gotta date this way. I gotta sleep around, fool around, mess around. And what's going to happen is one day you're going to find a girl, that maybe you should have been thinking of. And this is all you're going to have to give her. You're going to say, I want to spend my life with you. You're the most important person in my life. I want to have a family with you. And this is what I have to give you. Because I didn't set boundaries. I wasn't thinking about you. I was thinking about myself. This is the most special gift you can ever give anybody. This is what my wife gave me. Perfect, whole, complete on our wedding night. This is the most precious, special gift I've ever received in my entire life. This is not easy. This takes discipline. This takes boundaries. This takes commitment. This takes other people around you helping and supporting you. And I'll tell you, it was the most difficult conversation I've ever had in my entire life. To look at her and look her in the eyes, this woman that I love with more than anything, and tell her that I hadn't done the same. That I hadn't waited for her. I had been thinking about myself. I wasn't thinking of her. I wasn't fighting for her from a young age. And to watch her cry, to watch her hurt, I don't wish that on anybody. And I'm not saying that there's no coming back from that, because some of you are like, oh crap, I'm already there. I'm already well on my way. I'm not saying that you can't come back from that. I'm not saying that today can't be a new day for you. Okay? Because I made a commitment to her when we started dating. I said, hey, I messed up. I haven't done this right. I want to do this right. I don't want to touch you like that until our wedding night. I called up her dad. I said, hey, I love your daughter. I respect you and what you've done. and I'm not going to touch her until our wedding night. And I made that commitment the next day, and the next day, and the next day, and it was not easy. Okay? It was the best decision I've ever made. So I want to encourage some of you guys today. This might seem like a silly piece of paper or a silly activity, okay? But this is the most special thing you could ever give your wife and say, hey, you know what? I'm not perfect, but in 8th grade, I started thinking of you. I made a commitment to you. I didn't know where you were or who you were, but I made a commitment, and from that day forward, I decided to save myself and as much as I could for you. That's the most special thing you could ever give somebody. Okay? And so in just a second, if you want to make that commitment today, I want you to get your butt out of your seat and grab one of these cards. I want you to fill it out and just write down the date, sign it. I want you to have your brothers, your warriors, sign the back. Show it to your parents. Post it up on your wall. Take a picture. Post it on Instagram. Let the world know. I don't care what you think. I want what's best for me and myself and my future wife. That takes guts. That takes some strength. That takes some discipline. But I'm telling you what, you will never regret it. You will never regret it. And I hope that there's some of you that I get a random Facebook message 10, 15 years down the road that's a picture of this. You give it to your wife and say, hey, I fought for her from that day forward. Because this is not a commitment to perfection. It's a commitment to perseverance. You might fall, but what are you going to do when you fall?
Stand back
Get
up.
back
What are you going to do when you fall?
Get back up.
Get back up, and you're going to keep fighting. If you want to make this commitment, get your butt out of your seat, come grab one of these cards. Not a commitment to perfection, but a commitment to perseverance. I guarantee you will never regret making this decision, but I will tell you this, friends. You have to make this decision again tomorrow, and the next day, and the next day. There are plenty of people who have grabbed these cards, and over the summer or over the next year, they didn't take it seriously. Take this seriously. Invite accountability. Have your parents sign the back of it. Have them hold you to it. You gotta fight. You gotta fight.